caught a really good wave. Then the wave closed out and I was painless. I didn't feel anything. At first didn't realize what had happened. You know, the wave closed out, I hit the bottom and tried to stand up and realized that nothing was working. Tried to swim, but I couldn't move anything until I started spinning and I could feel the next wave coming. And when I hit the second time, I blacked out. You know, I was down for quite a while without a heartbeat, without breathing, and couldn't move anything at that point. And my new life started. Aloha, my name is Yurik Resetnikov, and I am a quadriplegic, meaning that I don't have feeling or complete control of my body from basically my armpits down. When I was a kid, growing up in Kealakehe, the neighbors across the street, the dad was a fireman, and he worked at Kailua Station that, you know, all us kids come up and down Palani every day and you pass by the firehouse. I'm gonna work there one day. That's what I wanna do. I wanna be here in Kona, I wanna work there. Luckily enough, I ended up back in Kona and I had an opportunity to join the fire department. All my prayers and wishes were answered, and in 2008, I got in the 37th recruit class, met some of the best friends of my life in that class, all of them, all brothers, and we're all still brothers. That was just the best day of my life, getting in the fire department. Yeah, I was a firefighter EMT, and then I was also a TA rescue. A lot of my career was on the ambulance. I lived the best of both worlds. I could do both, help everybody on the ambulance, but also, you know, help out the team on the rescues.
So he was a fireman and a rescueman for the local fire department, Kailua.
Worked at the Kailua Station, yeah. Just
Furlough Fridays, it was like 3-day weekends where we were camping down in Kiholo like every weekend.
For that whole time, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was like...
We were never home.
He definitely enjoyed body surfing when he could.
He always enjoyed body surfing. It was always a thing that we would go out and just do that by itself too.
Yeah.
It was always definitely just as special to him.
This is Medic 7 at Kailua Station. It handles everything from stubbed toes all the way up to heart attacks and car accidents. And it runs from Sunset Subdivision all the way to Pu'uanahulu. Average about 15 calls a day. So if you see them, wave at them. They're busy. All right, this is engine 7. This is our pumper truck full of water. That when your house catches on fire, this is what's going to show up. Holds 1,000 gallons and has all our firefighting equipment in here. It's a beautiful engine. And this is our station, number 7. The best station in the state, I think. On top of all of our firefighting and EMS and rescue duties, it's just like being home with your family. You know, the bathroom's got to get clean, toilets clean, sinks, floors swept and mopped, lawn mowed, weeds pulled. Big responsibility here every day. The cooking, everybody does the cooking. You don't have to be a great chef. You got to have one recipe you're good at least. Pork and peas was one of my go-tos. Shoyu chicken, kind of this easy stuff, chili. We got to feed everybody on the allotment that we get every day. And you get pretty creative. It was October 2015. It was the day after the Molokai Hoi. At that time in my life, I was coaching the men's program for Kaiapua Canoe Club. As one of our traditions, we usually go jump in the water at Sandy's the next day, just body surf a little bit, and then get on the plane and come home. I caught a really good wave, and I don't regret it at all. It was such a good wave. Then the wave closed out. At first, didn't realize what had happened, and tried to stand up, and realized that nothing was working. And I could feel the next wave coming. And when it picked me up, my head came out of the water and then went over the falls. And when I hit the second time, I blacked out. At that point, I took on water and drowned. They found me, started doing CPR, and then they went into the defibrillator. And I believe I was shocked 2 to 3 times on the beach. You know, I was down for quite a while without a heartbeat, without breathing. Luckily enough, the lifeguards at Sandy's are so professional and so well trained and didn't give up on me that they just kept giving me CPR and moving my oxygenated blood through my brain and through my body, which allowed me to not get any brain damage. And when they got me back, I was in the back of the ambulance. When I woke up, couldn't move anything at that point. And my new life started. I'd been to a lot of these accidents as a EMT, and I'd seen it, 100 times already. So in my mind, I kind of knew where I was.
He was still very agitated when I had walked in. He was not fully there, right? Still, he was fighting the intubation and things like that. And so it was like we only got to see him for a few minutes, and then they took him to surgery.
I knew I was paralyzed. In the beginning, the first few weeks, I couldn't move anything, and to communicate, they'd have a board with alphabet on it. I want water. They go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and you blink. That's your first letter, right? And then the next letter, they go through the whole alphabet, get to W, blink, W, and they spell out a sentence. And yeah, it was tough. It was really tough to accept at the time. There was a time of depression and why did this happen to me, and what did I do wrong, or did I deserve this? For me, it was really short-lived. I have good kids that didn't let me sink into that.
It's a thing that everybody goes through. We all have our woe is me days.
They very, very much wouldn't let me feel sorry for myself. They would give me no excuses to be sad. They just tell me, knock it off. Yeah, I couldn't be more grateful for my children.
I'm in awe by his children every day. His youngest, Mehana, she's so incredibly impressive as just a person. Just her strength and her character and how she thinks and how she believes.
For a very long time, it was that was just all I was like, oh, I just need to take care of Dad. I just need to, and it wasn't a thing where I thought I was missing out on things until I had gotten older. And then I was like, oh, I didn't do quite as many things as all my other friends were doing. I needed to make dinner, I needed to put him in bed, I needed to, do all the things. At the same time, I'm not gonna regret it, and I don't regret, being there to help him.
And then to have his oldest daughter be such an incredible support system to him, and bringing his granddaughter few days a week to him, and really just keeping him so involved in their lives. They're amazing humans. They really are.
It's I can do it on my own. I can take care of him, being 11 years old and being I can get my 6'4", 300-pound dad out of bed by myself, with just sliding him into his chair. Not only did I love him and doing it out of love and care, but it was also feeling I can take care of myself, I can take care of him.
To be so young and so well put together, yes, yeah. They both are extraordinary.
After I left ICU at Queens, I was lucky enough to be a candidate to go to Craig Hospital. And it's the foremost spinal injury hospital in the country. When I got there, I was still on a breathing machine, couldn't move my arms, and I had a couple surgeries there, and they were able to give me some of the abilities I have now. And that was, in turn, gave me the ability to drive. A lot of therapy and a lot of hard work.
Craig Hospital, that is where they teach you to become caregivers and how to
teach you to become a family that can work together.
Live with the injuries, and so that's where we learned a lot of it.
I cannot feel my thumb, my hands or my arms. I only have feeling in my thumbs, which thank God also, because that's where I can feel heat and sharp things or painful things, because I've burned myself many times and hurt myself by not knowing. Imagine if you couldn't scratch your nose, nobody's around, and all you want to do is scratch your nose and you can't, right? I mean, that is as simple as that seems. Think about it for a second if you couldn't. God gave me just enough to be productive. That I have no core strength or core control. If I lean too far forward or left or right, I can't come back up. If you can see on here, this hand has not been operated on yet, and it is just, I can't control it. And this hand, I can control now. I can grip and hold on to things like a toothbrush or a fork, remote control, my wallet. After 8 years of no hands, having one hand is literally like walking again. Once a week we go in, exercise the muscles, stretch the ligaments and tendons, because they'll have a tendency to want to just retract. So it's a weekly therapy to pull all my fingers straight and just to exercise all the muscles and keep everything going. I always tell everybody, living without your legs, duck soup. Living without your hands is really, really tough.
He has a natural optimism. If you put yourself in his position, you wonder how you can still every day wake up with just sort of this excitement for life.
He's a very just, I'm gonna do it kind of person. He's got that drive for sure to just...
Yeah, and I think it was a lot of changing his mindset too, and not being like so like, oh, what happened to me? It's like, what am I gonna do about it now?
Adapting,
I actually enjoy the challenge of it and trying to be as independent as possible, to live independently, try to enjoy this life as well as everybody else. I was lucky enough to be on a rescue team that was awarded the Daniel Sayer Award for a recovery of a young boy at Hapuna Beach that unfortunately got swept into a cave. Recover that boy for his family so they could have closure. And the operation had its dangers and risks, and we're all able to accomplish that and get out of there without any injuries. I just want to make sure that people know they're amazing, amazing people that have nothing but the community and Kona in their hearts and in their minds, and what they've done over the years to help save so many lives by providing equipment. And I wouldn't feel comfortable doing this without thanking them for what they do for the community. That was a hard adjustment, leaving that, I never felt one day going to work at Kailua that I was working. At work with all my best friends and helping the community, helping people here in Kona.
He's made me realize just how important it is to be so grateful for what you have every day. One thing that was so attractive to me was, I can't do this, but I can do that. That's how he lives his life. Well, I can't do that, but I can do this instead.
It was one of the first things I asked when I got there is if, would I ever be able to drive? I seen people driving, and at first they said, no. You can move your arms, but you won't have the strength to actually move the wheel and to operate the brake and the gas safely. So I was like, okay, well, that just means I have to get in the gym and get stronger. So that's what I did, and they offered me the driving class. Went through driving school at Craig, and yeah, it opened up my whole life. Another test that God put in front of me, and here I am.
He just has such a strong way of thinking, such an optimistic way of thinking.
Our nonprofit, S4SN, we're lucky enough to be partners with HLSI, the Hawaii Lifeguard Surf Instructors. We cater to the disabled and elderly, or autistic, MS, MD, anybody. Come down and we'll get you out in the water safely. I couldn't believe I was surfing again. I couldn't believe I was in the ocean. I want everybody to feel this. Anybody that's in my position needs to do this. When you get hurt, your family is hurt too. We try to take care of the whole family too down there, because everybody's going through this, right? I couldn't go through this alone. It's been such a blessing in my life to get involved with S4SN. There are a lot of people that suffer a lot worse than me and aren't able to do the things that I do. My heart and my soul goes out to those people, and I'll never complain what God left me with, and for a purpose. Like, I look at life differently, and I actually, in a weird way, thankful for this injury to see life through my eyes now. The need and the want to help people and to just be a better person by living this life has been a lot more fulfilling. My ultimate goal is to be 100% independent quad, which is a very lofty goal, but I think it's totally possible.
How he lives his life is really, it's beautiful and extraordinary.
He's gone through a lot and has worked really hard to come out really strong. He tries hard, and it's definitely a lot to overcome.
And, you know, I live such a blessed life. You know, my people in my life are so caring and so giving. I wouldn't be here and couldn't be here without them.
We have an incredible friendship, and he's very special.
Life is like so possible for me and so like exciting what the future holds. I was lucky enough to have good people early in my injury that got my mindset to believe that anything is possible. I want to do that for new injuries as well. You know, my goal in the future is to travel around the country, go to other VA hospitals and other spinal cord hospitals and speak to new injuries, talk to them about, you know, what is possible and to show them what is possible. That I just feel drawn to do that, and I feel like that's like what I'm here for. I believe that, you know, my second calling in life is to be here and to help people with this. So thankful every day for the abilities that I have. Like, I have nothing to complain about. You know, there's really nothing for me to complain about.